This bald man with a big belly is actually a rich second generation? He was born into a mining family. Unfortunately, in his generation, the industry just started to decline. The company's stock is worth only 4 cents per share. He went to find investors, but they didn't even see him. But no one would have thought that the market value of his company would exceed tens of billions of dollars in the near future. The whole of Wall Street was crazy about him. And his tens of billions of wealth originated from a dream. In the dream, he came to a jungle, and many workers were mining for him. The man standing above and directing the workers was named Mike, a geologist. He once discovered the largest copper mine in Southeast Asia. In reality, the man Kenny met Mike once. When Kenny woke up, he felt that this dream was a revelation given to him by God. He found Mike's contact information. Steal the gold watch he gave to his wife. With all his money, he flew to Indonesia without hesitation. There he met Mike. Mike used to be a star in the industry and was at a low point in his career. Because after several failed probes, no one believed his theory anymore. Two losers abandoned by the industry hit it off. Kenny is responsible for paying the money, and Mike is responsible for finding a location. They want to make everyone who looked down on them regret it. Mike takes Kenny to a place he's been interested in. Kenny looked around, staring at the scene in amazement. This is exactly the same scene he saw in his dream. He strengthened his confidence even more. Kenny grabbed a napkin. A 5-to-5 point contract was written on it. The two signed their names, shook hands, and made a deal. Kenny uses Mike's legendary experience as a selling point. Attracted a batch of small investments, successfully raised $260,000 in startup capital, and bought a set of drilling equipment. Immediately hire local workers to start digging day and night. Then the excavated samples are sent to the laboratory for testing as soon as possible. See if there is any gold in it. And things didn't go as smoothly as they thought. Laboratory reports keep coming back. Once, twice, 3 times, the test results were worse each time. Soon the startup capital became less and less, and even the salary could not be paid. The workers left one by one. No matter how Kenny persuaded them, he couldn't persuade them, lying helplessly in the mud. To make matters worse, Kenny suffered from severe maltreatment, lay on the bed and almost died. Before fainting, he took out the only $2,300 in credit card he had left to make a final plea to Mike.
Don't let me die and I have nothing, okay?
This sentence touched Mike. They have no way out. Mike began to visit every worker, learned that they have a common drinking water problem. So he used the $2,300 to buy a water filter in exchange for persuading the workers to come back. Work can continue. Several weeks have passed. When Kenny wakes up again, he found Mike sitting next to him with a heavy face. Kenny, who almost died, finally got good news. Chemist reports show that the sites they dug contain 8 ounces of gold per ton. This also means that they have found a gold mine with huge gold content. The two men hugged tightly, and this time, they were going to make a fortune. If you can see the progress bar of the movie at this point, you will find that the story has just begun. When a pauper suddenly becomes a billionaire, what will happen? The blonde beauty secretly greeted him and took the initiative to hook up with him. With a serious face on the surface, various small movements are performed under the table. Not long ago, Kenny dug a gold mine with amazing reserves in Indonesia. When he returned to the United States with the laboratory report, the whole of Wall Street was crazy about it. Investors who once looked down on him humbly served him coffee. The bosses are begging to subscribe to their company's stock. All employees become millionaires overnight. In order to prove the value of the gold mine, he invited investors to Indonesia to visit the entire mining workflow. They even went to the river to pan for gold themselves. Investors see the gold they get with their own eyes. There is no doubt about Kenny anymore. Kenny's company was soon listed on the New York Stock Exchange at a valuation of $17 billion. The stock price skyrocketed like a rocket. He became a billionaire. Party every night. Countless capital celebrities want to curry favor with him. But what he didn't know was, in fact, these capitalists have been secretly waiting to see Kenny's joke. Soon after the introduction of investors, Kenny met a real big boss. He controls a lot of gold, and Kenny's gold mine has also become his target. But the plan given by the big boss did not have the names of Kenny and Mike. He intends to pay $300 million in cash to buy out their gold mine outright. Kenny was furious when he found out, although the money he can spend in several lifetimes. But mining a gold mine was a dream he inherited from his parents. If dreams can also be sold, what is the difference between them and dead fish? In the face of $300 million in dreams, the man resolutely chose the dream. But rashly going against a big capitalist, there is basically no good result. He soon suffered from it. The big boss just used the relationship. The president of Indonesia personally sent the army to seal off the entire gold mine. Their mining licenses were also revoked. The meat they got was just lost in vain. Kenny started to regret. Since the gold mine was confiscated, the company's stock price plummeted by 50% in an instant. Kenny is on the brink of bankruptcy again. I was so drunk every day that I completely lost my fighting spirit. After Mike found out, he rushed to the United States overnight. Seeing him like this, Mike couldn't help but hit him. This fight woke Kenny up. This gold mine was bought by him and Mike with their lives. How could it be taken away by the capitalists like this? Kenny cheers up again. In any case, they have to recapture their own gold mine. Mike had an idea. Decided to start with the son of the Indonesian president. He's a playboy, and he loses everything he invests. He desperately needs to prove himself to his father. As long as he can be brought in, Kenny will be able to take back the mining rights of the gold mine from the Indonesian government. But it is not easy to gain the trust of this playboy. To test Kenny's guts, the president's son even let him touch this animal, looking at the ferocious tiger in front of him. Instead of running, Kenny dared to walk towards the tiger little by little. He extended his hand slowly. I feel that the tiger has no intention of attacking him. Kenny was even more daring, and even put his hand on the tiger's head and touched it. The president's son was impressed by his desperate courage, and the cooperation was finalized. But Kenny only has 15% of the development rights of the gold mine. Sounds a little less, doesn't it? What is 15% of $30 billion? Do you still feel less? Kenny is back at the top, and the stock price has skyrocketed again. The Startup Society decided to award him the Golden Pickaxe. This is equivalent to the Nobel Prize in the mining industry. At the awards party, Kenny was filled with emotion. After experiencing ups and downs, his dream finally came true at this moment. But he didn't realize until he woke up the next day. It's too fast to make a big difference in life. As soon as he arrived at the door of the company, he saw a large number of people protesting to collect debts, and was beaten to the ground by a punch. When he got back to the office, he realized what had happened. It turned out that after a third-party inspection, there was no gold in their gold mines at all. In the samples tested before, someone secretly sprinkled gold dust and forged the test results. Kenny also learned that his friend Mike sold all of his own stock the day before, converted to $164 million and disappeared. Even if you think about it with your ass, this is all a scam plan by Mike. A large number of investors began to sell stocks. Kenny's company was suspended from trading by the NYSE. The $17 billion in market value evaporated overnight. Kenny has nothing again. He is also considered a liar by the whole world. No matter where he went, the victimized investors came to besiege him. Even the hotel is urging him to check out quickly. And once back in the room, the 3 FBIs were already there. From their mouths, Kenny learned that Mike fled back to Indonesia with the money, was immediately arrested by the military. Then he jumped out of the helicopter. When the military found Mike's body in the jungle, his hands and face had been eaten by wild boars. Indonesian police hastily closed the case. Believing that Mike was dead, he was cremated. $164 million is missing. The FBI suspects that Kenny was also involved in the scam, but looking at how miserable he is now, less like a liar, more like a victim. And there is no evidence that he benefited from the case. In desperation, the FBI had to acquit him. Kenny, who had nothing, returned to his home from a luxury hotel. Although he was once lost in the intoxication, his wife still chose to accept him. Then she took out a stack of letters she had received during this time to him. One of the envelopes caught Kenny's attention. Inside was the contract he had drawn up with Mike on the napkin. It clearly says 50 to 50%. The letter also contained a check for $82 million. The amount is exactly half of $164 million. Kenny showed a meaningful smile after seeing it. The movie is called Gold and is based on a true story. I watched it a long time ago and was very impressed. I like it very much, so I do a commentary today. I also recommend that you watch the original film, because there are so many details. It is almost certain that Kenya is not a victim. He stole the Wall Street cake with Mike. The prototype of the story is a Canadian gold mining company. Shocking scam that broke out in the 90s. They created the illusion that the ore contains extremely high gold content. Then the company's stock soared from 25 cents to $200. A company with no record of turnover and profitability, just selling a fictitious story, has become one of the most successful public companies in Canadian history. No one cares what the truth is, as long as they can make a fortune. The gold in the sample is manipulated. The gold reserves are too huge. There were doubts all over the place. Why no one found out? As long as they can make money, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. The real gold mine has never been in a jungle, at the foot of a mountain or in a river, but on Wall Street. Alright, that's it for today's story. I am #1 Movies Recap. See you next time, bye.